All right. Good evening to you all. Good evening to you all. Good evening, Mr. Felix, Mr. Lawrence, Mr. Stanley, and the General. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
All right. So, how's the journey been like? Just two classes we've had. Of course, some of you said you are already familiar with the foundational. Nonetheless, the foundational is still very important. We take it. So, in today's class, we are going to be looking at template literal, conditional statement such as if statement, multiple if statement, nested if else, and switch. Then we also look at ternary operators. So I hope we'll be able to finish this within the time that we have. All right. So I already have the markup for that page. Come look at, we have class 3 index.html. So I'm going to change this from class 2 to class 3, and I used the styling of class 2, so I just reference it here using the right path. Then I changed some things, JavaScript essential, template literal, conditional statement, all of these. So don't worry, I'm going to, as usual, make the styling available for you guys. The markup. All right, so let's start with template template literal. Let's start with template literal. Strings and template literals. Yes, strings in JavaScript are sequences of characters. Enclosed within single, double, or backtick quotation marks. So you see there are three: single, double, or backtick quotation marks. They are used to represent and to manipulate textual data. Strings can contain letters, numbers, symbols, and white space character. I think we touched that at the beginning of this JavaScript simplified course. That's class 1. So strings are a fundamental data type in JavaScript and are often used for tasks such as storing and manipulating text data, displaying messages to users, constructing URL, file path, and other data, and reading and writing files in server-side JavaScript. That's Node.js. That's backend. Don't worry. When we finish the JavaScript course, we are still going to have another course which is going to be React and Node.js. So React is a front-end library, so while Node.js is a back-end language. So we are going to be doing React and Node.js. So that will take roughly about 16 to 18 weeks, or let's say 20 weeks generally. 20 weeks in total. That's like 5 months, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to be looking in depth into React and Node.js, but that will be after the JavaScript course. So if you are interested, you can also enroll for that too as well. Of course, towards the end of this JavaScript training, the flyers will be out for publicities, and for those, and for you guys that are here, if you also want to partake, of course you can enroll. All right, so number 5, it is used for passing and processing data from APIs or user input. So that is string. So now let's look at template literal. Let's look at template literal. Template literal introduced in ECMAScript 6, that's ES6, are a special type of string that allows for more powerful and flexible string formatting. So it is a special type of string that allows for more powerful and flexible string formatting. So template literals uses backticks as a delimiter instead of a single or double quote. So instead of using single or double quote for the traditional string method like string data type, for backtick you can use for template literal you can use backtick as a delimiter. Backtick, so even template literal is still a string, but just that it allows us, look at it, says it's a special type of string. It's a special type of string data type, but just that it allows us to do powerful and flexible string formatting, unlike the normal string data type that we can use single quote or double quote. So the key features of template literals are string interpolation. We are going to look at this shortly. The multi-line, so this is what we are going to look at now. Multi-line string. So this multi-line strings, it says template literal support multi-line strings without needing escape character like this. This is an escape character. This makes it easier to format and to write multi-line text. So if you want to format your text and write multi-line text easier, as in easily, without using easily, the best string, the best method to use is template literal. So let me show you how it looks like. Enough of the talk. Let's do something here. So let's say, for example, I have let, or let's say const, whichever one, output equals, and I have a string here. So let's say I want to do something like hello world, and afterwards I want to create another line, and I'll do I am learning JavaScript. I'm learning JavaScript from scratch. Let's use from scratch. From scratch. Am I correct? Scratch. Of course, I will make the PDF available to you guys. I should have even done that earlier, safe. Sorry about that. So let's go back to this from scratch. Then we will have I am loving it. Alright, welcome. So you see, I am learning JavaScript from scratch. I am loving it. Look at what we have. Hello world. I am learning JavaScript from scratch and I'm loving it. You see that the spaghetti code that we have here, that wavy line there, it shows that the normal JavaScript string data type that we use single quote or double quote for does not support multi-line text. You see that this is a disadvantage. It doesn't support multi-line text. So in order for us to be able to do something like this with template literal, or if we are to still maintain the multi-line, as in if we are to achieve multi-line text using the traditional quote for string, what we are going to do is, let's just come here and also here. So what we are going to do is to escape it. That's what we call escape. So now this is hello world, then I'm going to do a backslash, then n. You see that backslash and n. So this will take this other text to the next line. Then here I also do backslash and n. So if you save and you console the outputs, let's see the output in our console. Inspect. Can you see hello world? I am learning JavaScript from scratch. I am loving it. You see that? Very interesting. I am loving it. So this multi-line text is only possible because we did what, this escape character force backslash n. But without this, if I remove it, we will not be able to. If I remove this now and I save, look at what we have here. Can you see it's just on a straight line, which is not making sense actually. And we can't bring it down like this. If I bring it down like this, it's already screaming and yelling error. You can see that now. When you over on it, you see unexpected keyword or identifier. So this is disadvantage. So now what, with the help of template literal, let's do the solution. Template literal, okay, the solution. With the help of this, I can, okay, let me declare this with let, so I can be able to use it here. So I just say output equals, so let me just, I'm going to do a backtick literal. So let me show you how to do. Of course, backtick literal is the key before one. That's if you are using Windows, is the key before one. But if you are using Mac, I don't know, I'm not really familiar with that, so you can look for it. So I think that key for my laptop is not working, so let me use the virtual keyboard. Alright, good. So this is it here. This is a backtick. Alright, so I'm just going to copy this. I'll copy all of this that I have here and I'll paste it here. So this is still a string backtick. This template literal. So the template literal can also be called backtick literal. See that, backtick literal. It can also be called backtick literal. So it's used to create template literal. It is used to create a string that allows embedded expression. So you get that now. So now with template literal, it gives us the power. It gives us the power to be able to do whatever we want. So now in this case, now just come here and bring it down. Then here I'll also bring it down. So you can see it helps us to format our text the way we want. So if I save this and I just take this here, I bring this down here, console.log output. If I save, look at what we have. Hello world, I am learning JavaScript from scratch. So you can see, I can say okay, I want to probably bring this down as well, and bring this down, and I save. Let's do this. So you have the power to do whatever you want here with the formatting. Can you see? And you can even take the hello world. You can take the hello world far. Just press space, the space bar here. You see that, and you save. Look at how it looks like here. Can you see hello world? You see, very fantastic. So that's one advantage of using template literal. One advantage of using template literal or backtick literal. Alright, so that's one. It supports multi-line strings. Support multi-line strings. So that's that. The number two, it supports embedded expression. So let's see this. So string interpolation. Interpolate simply means to insert. That's the meaning, insert. So Now, one of the key features of template literal, aside from multi-line string, is that it does string interpolation. So what it means is you can embed, that means insert, you can embed expressions and variables directly within a template literal by enclosing them in this syntax here: dollar sign and dollar symbol and a curly brace. So it says that you can embed expressions and values directly within a template literal by enclosing them into the syntax. So this allows you to insert dynamic values into what the string. All right, so let's see how we can do that. And number 3, it says expression evaluation. Expression inside the syntax are evaluated, allowing you to perform calculations, execute functions within the template literal. So let's look at a better example of that. So if you go to class 2, the script tag of class 2, look at what we did here. We wanted to output my name is John Doe, I am 20 years old, and I am a software developer. So let's copy this. Let's copy this and come to class 3, and let's do it here. Alright, good. So now the result is, look at what we did. We were doing plus sign, plus. I told you plus operator can be used to concatenate. One function or key features of plus operator or additional operator is to what? Is to concatenate, meaning to join strings together. So you can see how stressful this is. Of course, you don't want to do something like this. So this is where string template literal comes in, because with template literal we can embed expressions. It allows us to do string interpolation. Alright, so look at it, allows us to embed what? Expression. So instead of doing that plus sign in the in class 2 example, I'm going to do this. I'll say const. So let's say results, or let's still use output. Oh no, let's make use of results. So I'll use the backtick literal now. Backtick literal, and I'll say, look at my name is. So instead of doing plus then passing the variable, referencing the variable name, there's no need for me to do plus anymore. I'll just do a dollar sign and a curly brace. You see that? A dollar sign and a curly brace. Then I will add what? The variable. You see that? Then comma, I'll do I am a dollar sign, this, I'll put what? Age there as a variable. Now I say years old, and I am a, then the occupation, like this, and you're good to go. So console.log what? Results. You see that? So now with this and this that we have here, which one do you prefer? Do you prefer this, or do you prefer this one? Do you prefer this one? My students, are you still with me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
prefer
prefer
the
line 21.
You prefer line 21. Alright, good. So now with the template literal, you can do what we call string interpolation, that helps you to embed expressions. So expressions are still values. Expressions are considered as what? Value. You get that? Now expressions are value. So when you say 2 plus 2, it will still give you what? 4 as a value. So whatever that is going to give you a value at the end is still considered as what? Expression. You get that now? So with template literal, we can embed expressions into this syntax. So where we have my name is, so instead of doing plus, they will not pass in the name variable. There's no need for that. We'll just do this dollar sign and this and the curly brace. Then inside of the curly brace, you are going to pass in what? The expression or the variable. You're going to pass in the expression or the variable. So now let's say, for example, instead of doing bet here, Instead of doing age now, I can say okay, birth year. I want to show you something. I can do birth year and I'll say 2000. Yes, let's say 2000. So in order for us to be able to calculate the age of John Doe, I'll just do something like this. I'll say um birth year, that's 2000. Okay, it's not birth year yet. I'll just do 2025 minus birth year. So the year the person was born and the current year. If you subtract the year the person was born from the current year, you will get what the age. So now look at this. Now this is an expression. So you can see calculation is happening here, and it will still give us what, 25. Now watch. Look at, my name is John Doe. I am 25 years old and I am a software developer. You see that? Very simple. Very simple. So this goes to show that you can that the that backtick support string interpolation, whereby you can embed expressions, not just variables alone, but also what, expressions, like 25 minus bet here now. As long as it's going to result to what, a single value, it is still what, an expression. So you get that. So I think let's maintain this. All right. So that is template literal. So it supports multi-line text, it supports template literal, and we can also use it for string. We can also use it for, yes, it supports tag template. You can call it html template. html template. html template. All right. It supports tagged template, that is the html template. So since we are not working with the DOM, but let me just give you an idea of how it works. So let's say um let's do something here. mm, okay, let's say const html equals, then we have a backtick. Just hold on. So we have like an so we can use you can do html here. You can say div uh, hello world, I am learning JavaScript, then I close the div. You see that now? Fantastic. So I can come here, I can do um, document. So let me select the body tag, document.body inner html equals to html. So if you save this, can you see hello world, I am learning what, JavaScript. Hello. Yeah, do you have a question, Mr. Stanley?
Yes, I just wanted to ask that, so you can actually use HTML syntax in
Yes, you
inside
can.
JavaScript, inside the
Yes,
script code,
yes,
right?
yes, yes, you can. So I don't want to
But
go. Yeah,
I saw it's like you assigned a variable.
I assign a
It's
variable
like
to
you assigned
it.
the variable HTML to it.
No, it doesn't have to be HTML. It's just a variable. I can do something like I can do something like um, I can give it what can I give it now? Let's just say string str. Hope I don't have any string declared up here. Okay, I don't have it, so I can do str. So I'll just say str, and it will still work. It doesn't have to be HTML variable. So don't get confused. Can you see hello world? I am learning what, JavaScript from scratch. So the thing is,
Ah, okay.
I don't want us to go deep into this part now,
All
because
right, sir.
we are going to look at it when we are doing DOM, document object model. So don't worry, just know that there is something called DOM, document object model.
Okay,
So
understood.
by when we get to that point, I will explain this in details. But just know that template literal supports tagged template, like HTML what template. So we are going to look at that. So now with this, you can now we have this JavaScript, sorry, this HTML code here. These HTML tags, these tags here, and it is different from the one we have in the index.html. So now what we want to do is, how can we attach what we have here to what this HTML file? So what we did was to do document.body. Document.body. So it's going to select the body tag of our HTML file. It's going to select the body tag. Then it's going to, so document.body, then inner HTML. So what we want to do is we want to add this HTML now. We want to add this HTML that we created in JavaScript. We want to add it as the inner HTML of the body. But meanwhile, there are elements inside of this body already. We have what? In this body tag, we have a div with container, and inside of the container we have h1 and all that. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to replace this string with the one that with this markup or this HTML element that is inside of what? The body tag. So that's the essence of inner HTML. So we are saying we want to make this div, this HTML that we have in JavaScript, as the inner HTML of the body. So the one that was there before will be cleared out. That's the reason why we are seeing only this hello world. I am learning what? JavaScript. I'm learning JavaScript from scratch. What about the other ones? What about the other ones? These ones that we have in the body tag, it has been replaced with what? With this. That's the essence of inner HTML equals to string. But let's leave that. Let's not dwell too much on that. So just know that it's working like this. So let me comment this. Once I comment this, it will take us back to the original page. All right, good. I hope you understand it. You understand it up to this point so far.
Yes, please.
Yes, we understand.
Okay. All right. Good.
Yes, sir.
Good. All right. So now the next thing I want us to look at is conditional statement. Conditional statement. So for the conditional statement, let's come here. Under the conditional statement, we're going to look at if-else statement. Mr. Stanley, you have a question? Okay, Mr. Joe, I saw your question. Okay, how was the hello world in the inner HTML underline, but I didn't see your styling? All right, so let's see it. Let's see that. Where is it? Okay, h1. Can you see hello world? H1. So if you come to the styling, here, if you notice for h1, where is it? Can you see border bottom 1 pixel, solid and black? That's what you are seeing there, border bottom. So let me go back to the code and uncomment this, save. So now you will see, can you see border bottom? You see that border bottom black. So it's not really an underline, though it's an underline created by border bottom. So that's where the styling is coming from. So the styling is coming from class 2. You see that now we already have a styling in class 2 and we want to now use that styling in class 3. So all I just have to do is to reference it. So I just get the path of the file here. Can you see I did it here? So I hope you now get it. So meaning the style affect all the element, whether inner HTML or the whole body tag. Of course, yes. It affects it. So does anyone have any question? Any question? So I guess no question, so we can move on. Now back to conditional statement, if-else statement. All right. Now, if statement is a fundamental control structure. If statement is a fundamental control structure used for making decisions in code. So when it comes to making decisions in code, we use what? The conditional statement, such as if else statement and switch statement. So it allows you to execute a code block conditionally based on whether a specified condition or expression evaluates to true or false. Evaluates to true or false. Alright, so let's move on. Now, let's give an example. Let's say before you can drink beer, let's use that one. Before you can drink beer in a more standard country or developed country, I think it's all over the world actually. For you to drink beer, you must have gotten to the age of 18 and above. But if you are not up to that age, you are not allowed to drink beer. So that kind of example is like making decisions. So we can do that we can convert that to a code in JavaScript. So if your age is from 18 upward, that means you are eligible to drink beer. But if your age is below 18, that means you cannot drink beer. It's better you take water or soft drink, minerals. You get that now? Alright, so let's see how we can achieve that. Okay, so I'll call this if else statement. So already have a code here. Please hold on. So if else statement. So here it says the if statement is used to execute a block of code if a specified condition is true, and if the condition is false, another block of code can be executed using the else statement. The else statement is used in combination with the if statement to specify the block of code that will be executed if the condition is false. So now let's say we have a user, or hope we've not declared age here, have we? Okay, no, we've not declared age yet. So I can say age. Let's say the user's age now. Let's just use or probably the customer's age. Let's say the customer age. So let's say the customer's age is 20. So and let's okay, let customer's name be equals to John Doe. Then we can now do an if else statement here. So I can say if. So you need the if block. If block. So before we even look at the else, let's look at the if block. So now in this if, the parentheses that we have here, that's where you're going to pass the condition. And the condition that you're going to pass into this parentheses will result to one boolean value, which can either be true or what? False. So any condition that you pass inside the parentheses of the if will result to one boolean value, which is true or false. So how do we construct this condition? And the condition is, as long as the customer's age is from 18 upward, then the person is qualified to drink beer. But if the person's age is below 18, then he or she is not qualified to drink what? Beer. So come here, I'll do customer's age. If it's greater or equals to what? 18. You see that? If it's greater or equals to 18, then we can say, you see that now? If it's greater or equals to 18, then we can console the log this John Doe is eligible to purchase what? Alcohol. Then we do else. Console the log is not eligible to purchase what? Alcohol. You see this now? So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it works here. Now see, John Doe is eligible to purchase alcohol. The reason is because John Doe's age is what? 20. But if John Doe's age is, let's say, 17, then look at what we are going to get. John Doe is not eligible to purchase what? Alcohol. Why? Because if John Doe's age is 17, which actually is 17, then we look at this condition here. Customer age, which is 17, is it greater or equals to 18? No, it is not greater or equals to 18. So because it's not greater or equals to 18, that means this condition is what? False. So if the condition is false, the code that you have inside of the if block will not be what? Executed. The reason is because the condition is what? False. So you will not provide what? An alternative. So else is an alternative of what? Of the if. So in the event the condition in the if parenthesis is false, we can provide what? An else. But it is not necessary. It's not compulsory you provide else for if. You get that now? You can leave, you can, if can stand alone, but else cannot stand alone. So you can have if to stand alone, but else cannot stand alone. Alright? So that is how it works. So I just hope that you are following my explanation. Now, apparently, cost customer age is 17, and we check, okay, customer age, which is 17, is apparently not greater or equals to 18, which makes this condition to be false. So since it is false, it will not execute the code inside of the if block. Rather, it will execute the code inside of the else block. And that is what we have here. John Doe is not eligible to drink beer. But if John Doe is 18, if John Doe is 18, look at what we have. John Doe is eligible to purchase beer. Why? Because John Doe is 18. So as long as he is 18 upward, then he's eligible to drink beer. So I can put, like, I can use an emoji here. Let me use an emoji. So let's do this. So how did I get this emoji? It's very simple. I just hold on to window key, then the dot, period sign, dot, full stop, dot. So I hold on to the window key, then the dot key, then it brings out that emoji. So if I do this too, so let's just say sad. Let's look for sad. Good, and I save. So look at what we have. See, person is eligible to drink beer, and the moment I change it back from 18 to 16, for instance, now look at, it's no longer going to be beer you are seeing here. You can see John Doe is not eligible to purchase alcohol, and it's very sad. Alright, so you can see how simple it is. So that is the first step. That's the simple aspect of what if else statement. When you have if and else, like I said, you can have if and not have else. Else is like providing an alternative in the event that the condition is not true. If it is false, then you provide else. But it's not every time you use else. Alright, it's not every time you use else. So in the event maybe we are doing something in JavaScript and you notice that I did not use else, I was only using if, it doesn't matter. If can stand alone, but else cannot stand alone. Else need if. So else cannot work in isolation of if, but if can work in isolation from or of x or whatever. So just know that it's not compulsory to have what else. So let's look at the next one here, which is multiple if else statement. Multiple multiple conditions or multiple if else statement. If else statement. Multiple if else statements. So let's see if we have that here. So we've already explained this. If the condition inside the parentheses evaluate to true, so we've explained this. Let's not overflog that. So now let's look at multiple if else statement. And this is it here. So let's say, for example, you want to handle multiple conditions. You want to have handle multiple conditions parallel in a parallel form. You want to handle multiple condition. It is very simple. That is where there's now a need for what? Multiple if else statement. So let us see how it works. Mm, what example I'm going to use now? Let's use a grading system. Let's use a grading system for exam. I think since the students that are here, they are all Africans. So I think the grading system for WAEC, I think was is it West Africa alone or I don't know, but whatever exam it is, let's just say grading system. Let's just use something universal. Grading system. Grading system for WAEC. So we have this. So let me just keep it somewhere. Yeah. So let me just do like a note or like a readme. Oh no, note is better. Note.txt. So I'll just paste that one here. So I can say let score be equals to. So let's say you are getting score from a prompt. Enter your score. Alright, enter score. Then we'll now have a if else statement. So if you notice here, let's analyze this. For you to get A1, your score has to be from 75% to 100%. So how can we do it? It has to be from 75% to 100%. So that means that it's going to be like this. For A1, it's going to be like this. It's going to be scores must be greater or equals to what? 75. And also score must be lesser or equals to what? 100. So that way we'll capture it from 75 to 100%. You see that now? We'll capture it from 75 to 100%. So now the thing is, all the things that I've taught you from class 1 to class 2, you will see how we are going to be using them now. Like operators like what they call it, logical operator, comparison operator. You are going to see how we are going to use all of this now. So if you notice, for you to be able to get A1 as a grade, so your scores has to be from 75 to 100. But the thing is, we are getting the scores from a prompt, so we don't have an idea. So how can we create a code for that? So to do that, we'll say, okay, the scores that the person will enter, the value of the scores that the person will enter in the prompt will be assigned, will be stored inside of this variable called what? Score. So we'll now check if the score that the person enter is greater or equals to 75. That means the person has scored what? A1. But we need to have another condition here too, because the score has to be greater or equal to 75 and less than equals to 100. Why? Because if you only work with one condition, that means if the score is only greater or equals to 75, That means it has to be from 75 above. That means above 100, 200, 500. But we want to be able to peg it, control it, that it should be within 75 to what? 100. So that means the score will be greater or equals to 75, but less than or equals to what? 100. So this is it. Very simple. So let's see how we can use it in our code. But before then, let me see how many minutes we have left so I can send you a new link. Alright, so I'm sure you get this explanation. So now let's see how we can achieve that. So I'll come here, I'll say if now the score. But before we look at score, I want you to check something here. If I console.log score and comma and I say type of score, we want to look the type of score. So let's see. So let's say 40. I press enter. So we are getting 40, but the type of 40 is what? String. Why? The reason why the reason why it is a string is because, let me refresh this again. Anything that you pass into this input feed, whether it is a number, if you pass a number into this input feed, you are going to get the number back as a value, but the data type of that number is a string. The data type of that number is a string. Why? Because of this input. The reason, because of this input. So when you pass a value here, so you have to be very careful whenever you are using prompt and you are passing a number value into it. Though you get a number value, but the data type of that number value will be what? String. So it is best you convert it to what? Number. It's best you convert it to number here, and I already showed you how to convert a number value that is of a string data type to number data type. That was in our second class when we were talking on when we were discussing type conversion and cohesion. So I'm just going to copy this prompt. I'll copy this prompt, or I'll highlight the prompt, cut it, and I'll put it inside of a number constructor function. Then I paste it there. You see that now? I'll paste it. Now watch. The moment I type 40 and I press enter, it's no longer what? A string data type. Now it's a number data type. So please take note of that. So now let me just remove this. So here I'll say if score is greater or equals to what? 75. Then the next condition, the next part of the condition will be what? If score is less than or equals to 100. So how do we write it? How do we merge these two operations together? How do we merge these two together? To merge it together, we can use a logical operator. Okay, someone want to say something? Okay, in the absence of that, to merge the two operations together, we'll use a logical operator. So the logical operator, which it is or, and not. So which one is suitable for this? Because if I use or and I say scores is less than or equals to 100, do you think this or is best for this expression?
No, sir.
It's not best, right? All right,
Yeah,
so why is it not best for this operation?
because this one it will check the condition for only one expression.
Okay. Okay.
Because if we say or, it means if it is not this or this,
Okay, good.
but we need to consider the both.
The both. Fantastic. We need to
Uh-huh.
consider the
Yeah.
both. All right, good. This is a good one. So the or operator checks for if any of it is true, then the overall will be true. You get that now? The overall will be true. So the or operator will not work. So that's a good one for one of us. So now the OR operator checks if any of it is true. So if this one, this operand here, if it is true, then the overall will be true. But that's not what we want. We want to check for what? Both. So the best logical operator to use is what? And. We use and. You see that now? Then we say, instead of doing console, let's just say alert. Let's use alert this time around. So say alert use your grade. Your grade is A1. You see that your grade is A1. So now, since we are checking for multiple conditions, because with this if else statement, it only checks if the scores is from 75 to 100. We also have some other scores here, which is 70 to 74, and like that downwards. But how do we do it? Because if only checks for one condition, so in order for us to check for all of these conditions, that means if else statement is not enough, then we need multiple if else statement. So how do we do it? So that's going to be, it's going to be called else if. You see that else if, so say if score is greater or equals to what? 70, and if score is less than what? 74, then what are we going to alert? We alert your grade is B2. Then the same thing too, else if score is greater or equals to 65 and score is less than or equals to what? 69. So I think we need to make this, less than or equals to 2. Yeah. So here we'll say else if again. I hope what I'm doing here is correct. Okay, 69. Alright, good. So else if score, so say the person score C4. So the same thing to here, C5. The same thing to here, C6. Alright, E8. Alright, so why this will be F9. Okay, so look at everything here. This is what we call multiple if else statement. So here I can now do else. So this after we have check all the conditions from A1 down to F9. After we've captured all the conditions here, they will now have one else. So this one else will mean that any score or any value that we pass into this prompt that is not within a 0 to 100 will be considered as what? A valid score. But any score that is within a 0 to 100 will go through all of these conditions here and check if it matches any of these conditions. If it matches any of these conditions, the code in that condition block will be what will be executed. So now let's save. Let me cancel. So hold on, if I refresh and I do 20 for instance, you see F9, I refresh again, I do 65 for instance, you see B3. The same thing too goes to, if I refresh and I do 78 and I press OK, you see that A1. So you can see how it works. Very simple. That's just one example to explain multiple if else statements. So I hope you get the idea and you understand this up to this point.
Yes, please.
Alright, so now the next thing I want us to look at will be nested if else statement. So what I'm going to do is, in order for me to avoid these annoying props, because anytime you save you'll be seeing that prop showing there, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to comment it. So I'm going to do multi-line comment. So I'll do this. See, I've commented it now, forward slash and asterisk. Then I will come under here and do asterisk forward slash. So this is a multi-line comment. So now nothing will show here. Even though I refresh the page, the props will not want to run because I've commented it. Okay, so I guess we are good to go. The next thing we need to look at is nested if else statement. Nested if else statement. Alright, so let's now look at nested if else statement. Nested if else statement. Nested if else statement. So nested if else statement is an if else statement inside of another if else statement block. So let me repeat that. The nested if else statement is an if else statement inside another if else block. This is used when multiple conditions need to be checked in a structured manner. In a structured manner. So now let's see practical example. Okay, let me do an example here. Let's say you have condition 1 here. You have condition 1, and inside of this condition 1 you now have else. In the event, so here we say code executes if condition 1 is false. You see that now, if condition 1 is false, code will execute. But if condition 1 is true, we want to have another if else statement. Another if else statement, which is condition 2. You see that now, another if else statement. So we have condition 2 here. So this condition 2 will run if code here will be executed if condition 2 is true. Then we have this condition code executed if condition 2 is false. So you can see nested if else statement. This can be quite confusing. That's why you have to be very watchful when you are doing this, because the curly bracket can confuse you and you'll be wondering which one is for which one, which one is for which one. So if you look at this first if here, the outer if, look at the curly brace, it's starting from here, it ends here. Then the else of the outer if, look at where it starts from. Then inside of the if block you have another if else statement. You see that you have another if else statement. So let's proceed. So here it says that the outer if statement checks the first condition. If it is true, the inner if else statement is executed. If the inner if condition is also true, the corresponding block runs. If the inner if condition is false, the else block of the inner statement will execute. And if the outer if condition is false, the else block of the outer statement will what? Execute. So we want to be able to check age and citizen. For you to be for you to be able to vote as a citizen, of as a person, for you to be able to vote, there are two things we need to check. First of all, we need to check your age. Are you from 18 upward? Because if you want to vote in any country, at least to the best of my knowledge, is that you must be from 18 and above. And number two, we have to now check, are you a citizen of that country? Because I can't be a Nigerian as a Nigerian and I'm coming to Ghana or South Africa or Cameroon and say I want to vote there. You get that now? First of all, I must have obtained citizenship there before I can vote. It's like someone have a question. Okay, all right, no problem, no problem, no problem, no problem. So the video will be available for you to watch afterwards, after the class. So, like as I was explaining, for you to be able to vote, first of all, your age must be 18 and above, and you must confirm if you're a citizen of that country. So let us see how it works now. So let me just leave this. Let me maintain this. So I'll say let um, voters voter age. Let's say let's make it 17, and let's say let a citizen be true. All right. So let me make it 18 here. Citizen be true. So yeah, I'll say if age or voter's age, a voter age is greater or equals to what? 18. Is greater or equals to 18. This is what we are going to do. Else, did I spell this? Else, a voter age is less than 18. We'll say you are too young to vote. Let's just alert you are too young to vote. But if the voter's age is greater or equals to 18, they will now have another if else statement here, which is a citizen. We'll just say a citizen. So we already know that a citizen is a boolean value from what we have here, true. So when we say a citizen is saying true, you get that now. Then I'll have else here. So this else will be alert you must be a citizen to vote. But if you're a citizen to vote, then we alert you are eligible to vote. You see that now? So let's say we get all of this from prompt. Let me copy this number value here. This one that we have here. Let me just copy this. Let's get it from a prompt. Let's get this from prompt. Then also here, let's do prompt here. These two will be true. Are you a citizen? Okay, let's just do are you a citizen, yes or no. So let's say if so should we use hold on. So if we are to convert it to a boolean value, the stress is too much. Let's just use since we are using prompt, let's use if a citizen. So say if a citizen is equals to yes, so let's use if a citizen is equals to yes instead of true or false. So now watch. So okay, conditional one is not defined. So what I'm going to do, let me just comment all of this just to show you as an example. Or let's do it here, multi comment. I'm still also going to comment the other one there, but let's do this. So let's say this score, are we having score here? Is this score that I passed there? I'm coming. Oh. Okay, enter your score. Okay, enter your age. Enter your age. Yep. So here I'll do something like um, let's say 26, and the person asks, "Are you a citizen?" Okay, the prompt is asking, "Are you a citizen?" Yes. So we press OK. Can you see you are eligible to vote? But if you refresh, and let's say the person's age is 20, and are you a citizen? The person say no. You say you must be a citizen to what? Vote. So you see, and if we refresh and I say maybe the person's age is 16, bef- look at what we are getting. Are you a citizen? Even though the person is a citizen, yes, it is going to tell you you are too young to vote. So you see that, very simple. You are too young to vote. So that is how it works. That's how it works here. So I believe you understand this up to this point. So let me just cut this last part of the comment and bring it here. Alright, so we've looked at the nested if else statement, multiple if else statement, and normal if else statement. Alright, so um, let's see how we can achieve this other one here. So we've looked at all of this. So now let's look at switch statement. Of course, we can have a combination of nested and multiple if else statement together. We can have a combination of nested and multiple if else statements together. All right. So, but let's quickly look at switch. So, what exactly is switch? So, the switch statement in JavaScript is used to execute different blocks of code based on the value of an expression. So I repeat that the switch statement in JavaScript is used to execute different blocks of code based on the value of an expression. It provides an alternative to using multiple if else statements. So if you don't want to use multiple if else statement, then you can use what? Switch. You can use switch. Please hold on. Let's proceed. I guess I should have that switch statement. Okay, yeah, switch, yeah. You say a switch statement is a control flow statement in many programming languages used to perform different actions based on the value of an expression. If expressions are if it evaluates an expression, and depending on its value, it executes a block of code associated with that value. So it's actually an alternative for multiple if else statement. So it makes code more readable and efficient when dealing with multiple conditions. When dealing with multiple conditions. So let's see how it works here. So this is how switch statement work. Switch statement. So here it says switch statement is used to perform different actions based on a different conditions. It is similar to if else statement but provide a more concise way to compare a value with multiple variants. I love that. So let's see how it works here. So switch, this is how it works. Switch. So an expression will be passed here. Then inside of this expression we are going to have what we call case. Case value 1. Then we'll do this. So this is what we have here. So this is how it works. So the expression here is the value that is to be evaluated. The value that is to be evaluated. Then the case specifies possible values of the expression. So if any of this value here in the case, like value 1, value 2, value 3, matches this expression, then this code block will be executed. That's why you are seeing a break there. So the break simply means exit the switch block after match is found, preventing fall through. So the break there is to exist the switch block after a match has been what found. So in all of these cases here, if there's any match in the cases that matches the expression, the block of code of that case will be executed and it will break out from the switch so that it will prevent fall through. You get that now? They will now have a default here. So default simply means it executes if no case matches the expression. So it is optional. So if no case matches the expression, it is similar to multiple if else statement whereby you can see all of this here. It is similar to it. So if no case matches the expression that we have in this switch, then it's going to default to what? It's going to come to this default. So let us see how it works. Let's see how it works. So let me just comment this part. Let us see how it works. So let's say let day be equals to 3. Then we have switch, which is day. So we have a case here. We say case 1. You see that now? And I'll say console.log Monday. So let's say day 1 is Monday, and I break. So I create another switch. I create another case, and I call it day 2. You see that I break. Case 3. I break. So we can go on and on up to Friday. Case 4. You see that? Then we have another one. Case 5. That should be Friday. Then we have this. So we'll not default. We'll default to console.log. Instead of doing invalid day, I'll just say weekend or invalid day. Weekend or invalid day. So you see that. So this default is similar to else. It's similar to else here. You see that now? It's similar to else here. So let's see. Let's see. All right. So what we are going to get is, so the day has a value of 3. So let's say if I make it even a prompt, I do number constructor function and I do prompt and I say enter the day of the week. All right, enter the day of the week. Now let's see what we are going to get here. Prompt is not defined. Why? Prompt, what's the problem? Okay, is it supposed to be capital letter P or small letter P? Okay, so the small letter P, sorry. All right, good. Prompt, okay, I think it's correct now. So if I do 4, can you see Thursday? If I refresh and I do 1, can you see Monday? If I refresh and I do something like 6, it's going to tell me what? Weekend or invalid what day. So you can see it's similar to what if else statement, multiple if else statement. It's just that this one is readable and very clean. You see that now? So this is the expression, this is the condition, this is the expression. So if any of the case matches the expression, it's going to console.log what we have below the case, and it's going to break, meaning exit from the switch. That's what is going to exist. So we can convert this multiple if else statement now to this switch. So let's see how it works. So let me come here, cut this and put it here. So I'm just going to, where is it, I'm going to copy this. Yep, I'll copy this and I'll paste it here. So make sure you have commented the word on top, if not you have error. Make sure you have commented this. So now I'll come here, I'll say switch, I'll do score. Yeah, I'll do case and I'll say if um, let me just copy this. Alright, so say alert A1 or break. You see that now? So let's attempt this. Let's attempt this. So let's say I do 89 and I press OK. We are supposed to get an alert here. Why are we not getting an alert? Let's see what the problem is. Okay, now the thing is, this is what we want to do. There's an error here, so we are not supposed to put in score here. We are supposed to put in what? True. We are supposed to put in true. Now why are we passing true here as an expression? Now watch. The true there simply means that when the switch receives a true as an expression, so it means that switch can also allow for Boolean expression. So please pay attention. Switch can allow for Boolean what expression. Switch can allow for Boolean expression. So now, if the score that we pass into this input feed, if it is greater or equals to 17 or less than, if it's greater or equals to 17 and less than or equals to 100, that means it is what? True. So if it is true, true will match what? This true here. So if this case is true, that means it matches what? The switch Boolean expression, and it's going to execute this. So instead of passing score here, we can pass what? True. We can pass true. So if this evaluates to true, it's going to execute this this code that we have under the case. So you see that it's going to execute it. So let's see how it goes here. So if I come here and I do 78 or let's say 89 and I press OK, can you see your grade is what? A1. Why? Because that expression here, this case evaluates to true and the true matches the one that we have in the switch. So it's going to execute this. So I'm going to do the same thing too. I'll do the same thing too for this. So alert, see that. So let's see, alert. So good, alert. That should be D7, F9. So the default now will be invalid score. The default will be invalid score. So I think that there's only for us to add break here. Invalid score. See that? Now I believe if you look at this and look at the multiple if else statement, you will prefer I'm sure you prefer this one, because this is very clean and concise, very clean, readable. It is readable. You see that? So let's see. So if I do 23, I press enter. You see F9. So if I do a score above 100 or below is 0, so let me do something like 900, invalid score. So that is how switch actually works. You see that? So we can go on and on, write many examples of switch, but this is how switch works. Very, very, very simple. All right. So now let's look at the difference between switch and if else statement. Switch and if else statement. So for switch statement, it is best for multiple district values, but for if else statement, it is best for complex conditions and comparison. So you can for the switch statement, it is more readable for fixed cases, but if else statement is more flexible for range based condition. So of course it's not that if else statement is out of place. Of course, me personally, I use if else statement. I don't even use switch. You get that now? It's just for teaching purposes. That's why I'm teaching you switch. I don't use switch most of the times, or all the time. I use what if. So even though I want to, write a code for multiple conditions, I don't use switch. I use um, what do you call it? If else statement, multiple if else statement. All right. So that is how it is. Okay. So let's stop here for switch. So the next thing I want us to look at is ternary operator. But before we look at that, let's read through this note here. Difference between statements and what expression. In programming languages, statements and expressions are both fundamental concepts, but they serve different purposes and have distinct characteristics. If you look at the expression here, an expression is a combination of what variables, operators, and function. I read that. An expression is a combination of what variables, operators, and function calls that evaluates to a single value. Remember, I was saying that any operations that evaluates to a single value is considered as what expression. So if you have 2 plus 3 and it gives you 5, it's going to be what an expression. So an expression can be simple like 2 plus 3, or can be complex involving multiple operations and function call. So examples of expressions include arithmetic expression, function calls like this. You can call a function or variable assignment like this. These are what all expressions. So expressions can be used within larger expressions or as part of a statement. So let's look at statement now. Statement is a complete instruction that performs a specific action. So it's different from expression. So you can have expression as part of a statement, but statement in its own simply means a complete instruction that performs a specific what action. Statements doesn't necessarily produce a value, although some statements may contain expression. Alright? So examples of statements include variable declaration like this int x, assignment x equals to 10. So conditional statement, if else statement is a what? If else statement is a statement. The loop such as for, while loop, do while loop, they are all what statement. Then we also have function declaration, because there are 3 types of function which we are going to look at in the next class. Function declaration is what? A statement. So statements usually end with a semicolon. So in languages like C, Java and JavaScript, though not all languages follows this convention. Get that now? Not languages follow this convention. So here are some key differences between statement and expression. Number one, purpose. Expressions are used to compute a value, while statements are used to perform action or control the flow of a program. Number two is evaluation. Expressions are evaluated to produce a value, while statement may or may not produce a value. Statements often perform side effects like modifying variables or printing an output. So composition. Expressions can be composed within larger expressions or statements. Please take note of this one here. For composition, expressions can be composed within larger expressions or statements, but statement cannot be composed within expression. Then we also have another one, termination. Statements usually end with a semicolon or a keyword indicating the end of the statement, whereas expressions typically do not require such what terminator. So in summary, expression produces value while statement perform action or control the flow of a program. Both are crucial components of programming languages and are used together to create algorithm and programs. All right, so let's stop here for today. um in our next class we'll look at ternary operator, and we'll also venture into functions, and or probably we should look at loop. Okay, we'll look at loop, then function. Then the next class we'll look at array and object. Then afterwards we'll now look at document object model. All right, so but just know that for statement, the composition is that statements cannot be composed within an expression. So let's say we have this now. um, mm, so now customer name, you can see it's inside of this statement, if else statement. So this customer name is an expression, so you can have expression inside of a statement, but you cannot have a statement inside of an expression. Um let's take for example this one here. So let's say for instance I now have something here. Let's say I want to do something like I want to determine if it's a male or female. So I now do um okay, let's just say I'm a male or I'm a female. So I just say a, then we'll do a backtick here. So I cannot do if else statement. Watch, I can't do if else here. It will even work. Can you see? It won't work. It's already giving me error. Why? Because look at this, says expression are expected. You can't pass in statement inside of this syntax that is used for string interpolation. You can only pass in what? Expression. You cannot pass in condition. You cannot pass in statement. Even though I do switch like this, you see it's giving me error. And even though I do for loop, that's what we call for loop here, also what? Error. You see that now? Let's say we have let x equals to 12. Can you see it's still giving me what? Error. Why? Because this is what? Okay, let's see, let x. Can you see it's giving me error? Why? Because this declaration here is a statement. So you can see you cannot perform statement inside of a backtick literal, inside of an expression. You get that now? But there's a way we can use if else statement in as an expression, in an expression. So this is where we are going to in our next class we are going to look at ternary what? Operator. We'll look at ternary operator. But let's just stop here for today. So before we end the class, let me ask, I hope so far you understand what we have done so far. Like you understand from what we did from beginning till this point. All right. So in the absence of that, um, let's call it a day. Let's end the class. We'll meet some other time. So I'm going to communicate. Of course, we'll still meet tomorrow. So once we meet tomorrow, that's where we'll look at loop function and all that. So of course, please let's be available. All right. Let's end the class. We'll meet tomorrow. Bye bye.
Okay, sir. Bye bye.